Welcome to the Alumni Podcast. I'm your host, Jenifer Garcia, and joining us today is Justin West, current member of the May Center Advisory Board. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for having me.
Of course. What have you been up to?
So I graduated in 2018 with a business management degree. A lot has gone on. I've changed jobs. I've grown as a person, and I've done a lot outside in the community as well.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I love to hear that. So you were actually a non-traditional student, right? Can you tell me about your journey through that?
Yeah, so I graduated high school way back in '97. I went to Blinn Junior College immediately following high school. I was out there for a year. I did college things and fell flat on my face. So I pulled myself up out of scholastic probation and realized that school wasn't for me at the time. I joined the Navy. I enlisted. I'm originally from the Houston area.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the Navy to see the world and ended up in San Antonio, Texas. I never left the Central Time Zone. You probably couldn't have planned that if you wanted to.
So first of all, thank you for your service. And what was your journey after the Navy?
So when I went back, I did 5 years active duty. I did 2 years where I got out, and I was unaffiliated, if you will. So I wasn't in the service. I was just I ended up being a government contractor. I worked with a bunch of retirees, and I saw how beneficial retirement was. So I re-affiliated, and I became an active drilling reservist. What that means is I was drilling once a month, a weekend a month, and 2 weeks a year. And I did that clear up until 2010 when I got mobilized. So I was 1 foot in and 1 foot out, meaning I was part-time sailor and part-time government contractor. So holding down 2 careers was interesting. I saw how beneficial not only retirement, but the degree as it related to work on the contractor side. So I started to go back to school in 2006, roughly, back when A&M San Antonio was in the elementary school. Because I remember bringing my daughter here, and she would hang on to the rails going up the stairs, and she's like, "Dad, this is my size," And she was 3 years old at the time. So, yeah, I've been around for a while. I was only taking a couple classes at a time. I knew it was going to take a while, but 2009 I took my last COBOL class. That's when I realized IT was probably not the field I should go into, but I closed out that in the Christmas of '09, and then in 2010 I was deployed. I went to Iraq to fight in the global war on terrorism, and I came back about October 2010. I didn't come back directly to school. Mm-hmm. I waited because I landed a job where I was traveling all the time. I was gone about 100 days a year. It was probably the best job in the world. I got to train good guys on how to use radios and such. So I did that for about 6 years, and then that time came to a close. Mm-hmm. That I wasn't traveling as much. There was a big shift in the contract world to move people to the government civilians, and that really wasn't for me. So I rolled the dice. I left government contractor, but if you remember, 2016 was an election year. Mm-hmm. The government contracts that we pursue got cut back, and there was definitely a shift. So with that, I was about 90 days without a position, mm-hmm. And Booz Allen offered me a position. They said, "Hey, you've done all these military exercises. Can you do cyber?" I was like, "Of course I can. Who can't, right?" Like, well, I didn't know what I was in for.
Yeah.
But I had kind of a cyber background already. I was a cryptologist in the Navy, so I understood signals, and that kind of helped project me into kind of where I'm at today. Mm-hmm. I'm a cybersecurity project manager at Booz Allen. So following that, 2016, 2017, I jumped back in. I found a job at Booz Allen, and I knew I had to finish my degree. Mm-hmm. So went back to school. I was here on this campus in that last year to get push through and graduate. And in 2018, I graduated that December which set me up for a new position in business development as a director. And for a small firm called Meritech Services, I helped grow that position. That position, 16% in 18 months. It was good growth. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. So I found my replacement and I moved on. When I moved on, I moved back to Booz Allen. Booz Allen was happy to have me. They had that growth in business development really helped me out. Here's a short story, just a tidbit. When I was a business student here at Texas A&M San Antonio, Stephanie Black, Professor Black, had hosted a human resources panel, and Hunter Woolfolk of Documation was presenting. And he said, there's two things that I would need in my sales guys, and it's high control and social. And I remember, hey, I'm both of those. But then I started to rethink because I was like, I'm not a sales guy. I'm just a military guy. So I did some research, and I started poking around. And that's when I learned about business development. So what does that do, right? That matches. So at Booz Allen Hamilton, where I'm currently at, our job is to grow contracts. We're a for-profit company, so our largest client is the Air Force. I go in and I look at their requirements and I match it with our technology solutions, and then we win government contracts. And then we go on from there. We solve their toughest problems on a daily basis. So we're close with those clients. It's a rewarding career. It's been great. Booz Allen's allowed me to do a lot, so it's been beneficial. So that's when I finished up my degree. All to say, right? That's the long way of saying it's been good.
Right. You mentioned being a student for a minute. Can we just go back to that and tell me about your experience at TUMUSA? Because campus was still relatively young.
Relatively young, yeah. When I was being a non-traditional student, I would come in the evenings, right, after work, because I was holding both jobs down, right, and then of course the reserves as well. So there was a lot of pigs on the property. I remember just the herds of pigs as we would drive out of here. I would head down Zarzamora on the way out, and we would have to stop and let the pigs cross, and that was always a fun memory. As far as the college campus itself, it was always welcoming, very rewarding. There was a lot of military folks, so it was easy for me to get along with those guys. And of course, the traditional students I wasn't around as much during the day, so I was with other business professionals at the time in the evening.
So now, as an alum, you're actually very active about volunteering here. Can you tell me about that?
So yeah, in the Maize Advisory Council, shout out to Clarissa Tejada. She's wonderful to work with. She has been the reason Booz Allen has had a presence here in San Antonio, and because of me and my willingness to volunteer, I think it's been a match made in heaven. The Office of National Cyber Director was in town, and I got a phone call. Hey, Justin, are you interested? Yeah, I would love to. She's like, I need an industry representative. I'd be happy to. So what we did, I put a note together, a quick paragraph, and briefed the Office of National Cyber Director, and showed them what we were doing from a Booz Allen perspective to give organic growth in the San Antonio cyber ecosystem. It was huge because there's not a lot of internships that cater towards the San Antonio metropolitan area. So what that looks like is there's a Cyber Patriot. It's hosted by the mayor of San Antonio, and he solicits, I don't remember how many schools, but somewhere upwards of 20, 30 even, high schools, and then they put a team together, and it's a capture the flag event. And so so the top 3 scoring teams all get internships at Booz Allen. It's a cyber security focused event. We got to brief that at that visit, the National Cybersecurity Director visit, and it was very rewarding because he mentioned that he'd like to see more programs like that organic growth here in San Antonio.
Yeah, that's a wonderful program. I'd love to see more opportunities. You're actually also a Tu Casa
I am.
mentor.
I am a mentor. I love it. I didn't know what I was getting into. Dominique Vera asked me, and I was like, I would love to mentor. So being Navy background, it's our job, it's our duty to mentor those that are coming up, right? Because one day we're not going to be around, and we got to pass that on to. So what does that look like? It's a great mission. And I just love it so much. We were just at the ball game last weekend, and they were. I was there with my mentee Michael, and he was having a blast. Love that stuff. Yeah, so it was just a good time to get out in the community, kind of give back and watch them grow.
Yeah, awesome. For anyone that maybe doesn't know, can you tell me about what Tu Casa is and what it stands for?
Sure. So Tu Casa, it's to be a mentor for folks with usually a mental disability, and it could be anything, autism, Down syndrome, anything of that nature, but to treat them as wonderful members of the society and the great community that we at TAMUSA share. So it's a heartbreaking story, right? But the reason it was developed was because they didn't feel like they were part of campus. And that was unfortunate. They didn't feel like they were part of the community. So to tie someone back to them, to say, hey, come on, let's go grab lunch, let's go grab dinner, let's go do a softball game, let's go do something campus related, and it helps those individuals go on to be productive citizens in the society after college. So yeah, wonderful program.
It is a wonderful program. You also, apart from mentoring, you are a guest speaker in some classes.
I am Professor Al-Asmadi. We were helping. He's a cybersecurity. I don't know if he's a cybersecurity engineer or just a cybersecurity background, but he asked that I come and speak to their seniors, and I was like, hey, do I come in? I'm not a cybersecurity engineer by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a cybersecurity program manager for a company, right? For a technology firm. I don't know that I can speak to these folks. Like, well, I don't know what you're gonna. Can you prep me on what you would want from me? He goes, oh, I'm looking for like the job market. What does the job market look like in the San Antonio ecosystem for a cybersecurity professional when they graduate? And I was like, I'm your guy. I can talk to you about that all day long. So we helped steer those students towards the right basic qualifications for requirements that would be beneficial towards government contracts, whatever that looks like, from a cybersecurity perspective, like the minimum certifications, the prior requisites around which certificate to have. Those are all important because if people don't meet those basic qualifications, then we can't fulfill those service-oriented tasks.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And then also, you are married. You have a bit of a love story. You are married to a A&M San Antonio alumna, Tabitha West.
I am. Tabitha West and I met way back in 1999, and actually we got married in 1999. So we just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary. Wonderful time. Again, Tabitha's not a non-traditional student as well. When I joined the Navy, she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and then as the kids got older, she was like, I don't know what to do with my time. Like, I need to go do something else. So she ended up going back to work. When she got back to work, she realized that hourly wages wasn't cutting it, and she wanted to do something that would project her into a salary. So she was really passionate about logistics and supply chain management, and TAMUSA has a great logistics and supply chain program. Professor Glasser, I think, is the reason that whole degree system is set up in that way to support that particular function. And Tabitha graduated in 2021.
She's actually in the studio. Do you want to say hi?
Hi,
Want to get in the shot?
Yeah.
Just, y'all.
Hi.
Wonderful. Love that. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you two were each other's support systems.
Oh, 100%. 100%. We would. I definitely wouldn't be here without her. It's we're a team. It's a business for sure. It's all about communication. Even those hard questions, right? Like, what does that conversation look like? If you can pull your emotion aside and just talk, like it'll be okay. And it's hard, right? You got to put your ego down. You got to put it to the side. But you don't know everything. I don't know everything. She doesn't know everything, right? But if we put together collectively, we're better together than we are separate for sure.
Yeah, that's great. I think that kind of also represents Timusa in the fact that we, as a community, help each other out.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
You also did jujitsu, right?
That's a cool story, right?
Yeah.
I also volunteer with the San Antonio Rodeo. Those two things are tied together. I'm a life member at San Antonio Rodeo. We just had our last, just recently in February. We got done with the rodeo. I'm a calf scramble committeeman, and I lead Team 1. Team 1 is responsible for raising funds throughout the rodeo throughout the year. And each kid, if you're not familiar with the calf scramble, 24 kids go down in the dirt every performance of the rodeo, and they release 12 calves. They have to catch that calf with their hands. They have to put a halter on it, and they pull it across the line. When they pull it across the line, each one of those kids who wins gets a voucher for a breeding animal, and that breeding animal is raised all year long, and it comes back the following year, and they show it, and then that money goes towards scholarships, towards funding another project. It's usually geared towards 4-H and FFA students. It's very near and dear to my heart because I was a FFA student back in high school. So I raised animals, and I got to do the calf scramble back when I was a kid, and it's my way of giving back. Like it's really, I feel like it's helped me be more responsible, helped me be more accountable, right? When you have another mouth to feed early on like that, it requires a lot, so it's fun.
You mentioned being an FFA student. Can you just...
Yeah, it used to be Future Farmers of America. It kind of moved away. It's just the letters now. But yeah, that's raising animals. That's judging meat, judging poultry, milk. They have milk contests. They have all kinds of contests that are related to agriculture. That's why giving back to San Antonio Rodeo is so important to me, because it's their mission is very community oriented, very much like Tamusa's, and it's given back to the agriculture way of life, and preserving that for future.
Yeah.
And so the way that ties back to jiu-jitsu is the officers there at the San Antonio Rodeo have their own gym, and it's a gym that where there's jiu-jitsu, and I noticed something. I ended up retiring from the Navy Reserves in 2022. That was 23 years total service. I didn't know what to do with my hands after 2023, right? So 2022 I graduated, I retire. 2023, I was struggling. I something was missing, and so I found out about this gym at the rodeo, and I was like, how do I become part of that? How do I do that? And the officers were like, hey, as long as you're a life member, this is open up to you. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm interested. So we train every morning at 7:15, usually 4 to 5 times a week. And I'm a blue belt now, and it's been a fun way to stay in shape. It's a struggle. I'm not good at it, but I have competed a couple times, and I've had a great time. I got a great support system there. The guys are great. It's kind of like a men's group, a men's club, if you will. We talk about men things, and we have it's a great support system. Yeah, wonderful, and it's got that cowboy charm, if you will. Definitely fun.
That's really interesting. Okay, do you have any advice for current students?
As far as professional, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say, from a professional standpoint, when you're looking for a position, specifically graduating on your way out of college, make sure you are tailoring every resume to every position that you go after. It's a very big deal. There are companies using artificial intelligence that matches the basic qualifications to your resume. And if your resume does not have those basic qualifications, it immediately gets put to the side. So you have to have a percentage of basic qualifications being matched. So what does that look like? I would be as plain Jane as possible. If it's asking for 3 years of cybersecurity experience, make sure your resume says 3 years cybersecurity experience, because that's how you're going to get to the next level. The next level is a human. A human can interpret those things where AI won't necessarily have. It's not up to date yet. It's not up to speed yet. So having that very basic qualification up front will get you at least seen by the second level. And network. A lot of that matters. People can stumble into success all day long, but the person who works hard will get there faster. I promise. It's from networking. Make sure that you are networking in your class, networking in your in social media, networking and LinkedIn is social media. Get a LinkedIn account. Move forward. And ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Everybody's willing. There's so many people out there willing to help. I'm always willing to help. That's why I like giving back, doing the mentor stuff. We're busy. Tabitha's out there in the streets as well, being a mentor to so many as well. So it's a wonderful thing. Ask for help. Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Do you have any shout outs you'd like to give?
I think we gave a couple of shout outs already, so we're good. Adriana Contreras, thank you again for allowing me to be on the Mays Council, Advisory Council. I'm always happy to help. Mary Kay Cooper runs an amazing alumni group. Thank you, Mary Kay. The whole team and everybody in the background, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story and for every volunteering and everything else that you do.
Absolutely.
It was nice having you.
Pleasure.